Hey guys, it's Vitleme at Fang Pig Squeak Reads, and I managed to finish another book. It's the last day of April, and I managed to read 4 books. That is a huge achievement for me. I'm not even kidding. I mean, I work full time, and I'm also trying to concentrate on writing myself, and then, trying to hit that little sweet spot of reading anything. It's hard. But I managed to read 4 books. Two of them were two short story collections, and then I listened to an audiobook. It's always nice to do that while you're on a commute. And then I managed to finish this one here. This is Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. And I'm a little bit ashamed to admit that I've never read any books by Stephen Graham Jones. I've been meaning to, but I've never gotten the time or to get around to it. So when I went to my local comic book store, like a local geek store that also carries my books, yay! I saw this one and I was like, I think this might be a pretty good introduction to Stephen's works. I was not disappointed. Like, this book wrecked me. It's super short, it's about 108 pages, but it's so good. It was amazing. It was so raw and it was so emotional and just heartbreaking. I mean, this is a horror story, but it's still heartbreaking. I mean, horror stories can be like that too, So, what is this book about? As I usually do, I read from the blurb. So, walking through his own house at night, a 15-year-old, that's actually a typo, he's not 15, he's 12, thinks he sees a person in full Blackfeet regalia step through a doorway. Instead of the people who could be there, his mother or his brother, the figure reminds him of his long-gone father who died mysteriously before his family left the reservation. When he follows it, he discovers his house is bigger and deeper than he knew. So this is written in the perspective of a 12-year-old. And I think Stephen did a really good job of capturing that. I mean, when I was reading it, I definitely felt like I was sitting across from this 12-year-old boy, and he was just telling me this tale. And how he did it is basically, it was engrossing, and then it was also, in a typical way of how a 12-year-old would, speak, so to speak. So I really, really liked it. Like here, I'm just gonna give you like a little brief. I'm just taking like a random page from the book because all of it is excellent. So here, I did it. I sat down right there and tied my legs off one more time, tighter than before, and pulled the rope between my teeth instead of knotting it like last time. This time it hurt. I think it was because all the blood that had just got to go to back where it was supposed to have been. It had only been starting to make the turn, suck back up to my heart, but now I was shutting it off again. It felt like my feet were balloons, when they weren't supposed to feel like anything. So he kind of bounces back and forth, like it's not even a dialogue, it's just, basically the narrative. And I definitely felt that I was in the body of a 12-year-old, trying to tell this tale. And like the blurb suggested, like the blurb says, it is about this 12-year-old. His name is Junior, so we don't really get to know his his authentic name or something like that. And he is known for sleepwalking. And so one night he wakes up and he's in the living room, having been sleepwalking, and he feels this presence that he's felt something cross the living room to the utility room and then to his little brother's room. And for some reason, he is convinced that it is his dead father. And of course, I mean, he died when he was 4 in the story, and of course, he had no typical relation or these kind of emotional ties to the father. So at this age, as 12-year-old, you kind of want to know stuff about what happened and what kind of man the father was and everything like that. So it becomes kind of like a quest for him to really figure out what happened to his dad, how he is coming back. I mean, he doesn't really believe in that, and it doesn't, and I think in Native American, and in some Native American tribes, it's not really something that is in their religion. Like coming back from the dead is not something that they would consider happening that often. But he's convinced that his father is coming back, and he's wearing this full Blackfeet regalia. So I love the descriptions that he wrote to describe the headdress, the feathers, the beads. It just I was immediately transported there, and it was awesome. Um, so he kind of has this feeling that he wanted to be a fancy dancer. His father, right before before he died, or before he had a family, and Junior feels like seeing him in this full Blackfeet regalia, that he is kind of doing the things that he wasn't able to do before his untimely death. And so it becomes like a mission for Junior to kind of see this through. He wants to be able to see his father, because he hasn't seen him that like as much. Like he has seen like a, how should I say, like a really transparent silhouette, but he hasn't seen him like as a solid person, or like as solid as you would see if you were like seeing a ghost. So he's not, he's trying everything. He's like mapping the interior of his house, trying to figure out like where he would usually go. Spends his time, as I mentioned in the example that I wrote, he's like tying his feet so they fall asleep, so he's not, so he's more aware when he wakes up during his sleepwalking. And he just really, really, really has this desire to be able to see and talk to his father. And some other strange things happen at the same time. Like he lives in this place, not like it's not really the best place in the world, and the neighbor has these 4 dogs that are vicious and known for trying to get get at him and his little brother Dino. And at one point in the story, he goes underneath the house because he has this kind of strong feeling that that's where his father is coming from. Goes up from under the house, and then enters the house through the back door. So he has this idea to go check out there, and at that time, like, these dogs come and try to attack him. But then through unexplicable reasons, they are all killed, and Junior is like convinced that his father was responsible for that. He's trying to protect him. But I'm not gonna go really, really deep into the story. I mean, it's not that long. But as the story progresses, we kind of see that it takes a darker turn. Both for the father, like the relationship between Junior and this supposed ghost of a father, and then towards the very end. And it was basically the ending that really got me, that wrecked me, because it was so heartbreaking. Because he managed to know what happened to his father in the end. So I'm not gonna say what happened or anything like that. And the story ends with Junior becoming, an adult. He's like 40 years old. He had a son that he didn't know about, didn't really connect with. The son died, had like an untimely death, similar to his father, and he feels really ruined about it. But he knows of a way to bring him back, and he goes through with that at the end of the story. And it was just heartbreaking. I'm not gonna tell the spoiler. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You just have to read this story to really see what I'm going with. But man, it's really sad. And I'm trying not here to, get too emotional. But it was super sad. And I was like, this is the second time this month that I'm reading something super sad. And I don't want to cry at this. I mean, yes, you're supposed to cry at this. I mean, you're supposed to evoke these kind of emotions to you. But I hate crying. I get like, I ugly cry, guys. You don't want to see me crying. It's just awful. So I'm just I'm not gonna do anything like that. So I'm trying to laugh to make me not do that. So yeah, I mean, this book, like here's a blurb from Paul Tremblay on the cover. Emotionally raw, disturbing, creepy, and brilliant. You will not be unmoved. And he's completely right. Everything that he described here is exactly what I felt when I was reading it. It's just, I couldn't stop reading it after I started. And I just kind of, I was cursing the entire time because I was reading it while it was quiet at work. And whenever there was a customer, I was like, God damn it, I have to fucking put this book down and deal with customers. So, yeah, this book is amazing. And if any of the other books written by Stephen Graham Jones or anything like this, man, I'm so excited to dive into his books. I've heard nothing but I've heard great things about The Only Good Indians. I might tackle that during my summer vacation. That means I have more time to actually read a lot. Might do that then, but in the meantime, I'm happy that I decided to read this book by him, and having this be my first introduction to his works, because his writing is amazing, and I really enjoyed it. So this book is a 5 out of 5 for me. It was chef's kiss amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I definitely recommend that you pick up a copy. I think it's either available as an ebook and also as a paperback. Might even be available as an audiobook. I haven't checked that right now. But definitely read it. It is hauntingly good. So this has been my last read for April. Super happy that I managed to finish 4 stories again. Taught in those numbers again. And hopefully I might be able to read a little bit more in May. Not really sure though, but we'll see. I might do like a TBR list this weekend. But in the meantime, I hope you guys are staying safe, and I hope you will have a great day today. See ya!